Hello survivors, and welcome to the first 63 devlog video. My name is Eugen Harton, I am a lead producer of DayZ, and today we will be taking a closer look at the content presented at Gamescom. Before we get into it, let me just say that this is a really exciting time for both us and our fans. This devlog will be the first opportunity to see gameplay of our internal 63 build. Just to remind everyone, when 63 update reaches stable branch on Steam, it will mean DayZ enters beta. For the first time today, you're going to see DayZ running completely on a new technology. While things are still heavily work in progress, it's a pretty good showcase of how different the 0.63 experience is. Just to be clear, the main menu as you see it here exists only in Gamescom demo. The final layout will be different in beta. But let's dig deeper into one thing everybody wants to see, the new Infusion animation system and the new player controller. Running the legacy RB animation system, we've been constantly reaching limits of what that system allowed us to do. The legacy animation system was also the reason behind many troubling technical issues. To get rid of clunkiness of movement in DayZ, we've implemented a completely overhauled system that can now blend animations together and generally allows for a much smoother feeling when you move. This large technology change ultimately makes DayZ a modern, fluid and responsive game, something fans, and us included, wanted from DayZ for a very long time. As you're watching your character move in third person here, you can immediately notice a change. Transitions between different moves and stances are now much nicer, and different body parts are animated separately. One thing is not obviously visible in the video, and that's how fast your character reacts to player input. This gives you a much better control over what's happening with your character in game, and will generally provide a much better gameplay experience, especially in high stress situations, like those that happen during PvP combat. While the overall movement is easier, in a sense of being able to better control what's happening with your character, it still offers somewhat authentic feeling of human body movement. Using things like inverse kinematics, there are natural limits to what moves your character is capable of. For example, when turning around, you can only turn 180 degrees in one go, and your feet and body actually move accordingly. For a quick comparison, let's just see 0.62 and 0.63 footage right next to each other. While the improvements in 0.63 are already noticeable in the video, the biggest difference is when actually playing. 0.63 just feels very good in your hands. One of the things still missing in the player animations in 0.63 is inertia. That will help smoothen the transition from running to stopping, and also prevent some of the zigzagging in PvP. We'll hopefully have it implemented internally very soon. Since we're near a barn, let's take a look at another new cool feature of the animation system, falling from heights. While fractures are now not properly implemented in the demo, long gone are the times where any minor fall could basically have you randomly end up with a broken leg. When falling from reasonable heights, your character will now just stumble for a bit, but your bones will maintain their structural integrity. Another welcome change is that your character is now able to run up and down the hills. The annoying, forced change of speed when reaching a certain slope is now gone as well. The implementation is not final, and we still want to make it slightly more realistic, but it is certainly something that we are happy to see improved under the new technology. Before we take a look at the new melee combat, there is one more thing that I'd like to cover. As you've probably noticed, when we are running around Starway, there is a new stamina system. It basically limits your ability to sprint for long periods of time. The UI at the bottom left is showing your stamina. As you sprint, your stamina lowers and you will need to slow down or stop for a while to get it back. As you can see, your character is also providing direct feedback about their depleted stamina with a breathing animation. The maximum amount of stamina available is based on your gear. The more and heavier things you carry, the less stamina you have available. Introducing stamina is a major change to gameplay, and it will be interesting to hear your feedback when we release 0.63 to experimental. The main intention is to make players properly explore the nearest settlements first, before going to more distant locations, like military bases. Regarding your inventory, we also wanted to introduce changes to how many slots certain items take, and also how the inventory is divided in general. The implementation is far from final, especially in terms of graphic design, but it already shows what we want to achieve. You'll probably notice some new things, like a belt slot or a dedicated armband slot, but we'll get back to those when they are properly implemented. Also, you can now see the new visual representation of user actions with the environment, like picking up items or opening doors. The scrolling action menu is now gone. Alright, now we roamed around for a while and managed to find an axe and a weapon. So let's get into some action. I'm gonna start a very quick fist fight with Dean right here. So the first thing that you see here is a dash attack. When you're sprinting, you can now quickly attack any nearby enemy right away, without putting up your hands. That should make for some interesting situations, as you never know when somebody's gonna throw a punch your way. To continue the fight though, it's much better to put your fists up. One of the major changes in player controls is that there is now no toggle. If you want to stay combat ready, you need to hold the right mouse button down at all times to keep your fists raised. With a left mouse button, you can start throwing single punches or combine them into a quick combo. That is mainly to prevent people from running with their fists up all the time, but also to differentiate between melee attack and the user action. As you're attacking multiple enemies at once, you can notice the direction of your attack quickly changes as you aim with your mouse, even during the animation itself. This has been improved a lot compared to 0.62. Another thing that you notice is the injured animations. The more damage your character receives, the more severe is the limping animation. The melee should now feel much more fun, accurate and rewarding, but some intended features are still not implemented, like blocks or evades. This will make melee combat a bit more skill-based. Now it's just pure carnage and you never really know what are your real chances of winning a fight. As basically any item in DayZ can be used as a melee weapon, we currently have several sets of melee animations that fit several items at once. At some point, we'll probably want to customize as many of the animations as possible, but for now, several sets of identical animations work fine. You can clearly see the difference between different item animations using axe and a knife, the most common weapons for melee combat. The melee attacks can also pick between multiple targets during the attack, so you can effectively deal damage to more enemies with one combo or one swing of an axe. Overall, the melee combat and its animations still require a lot of tweaking. The same can be actually said about the infected, as they have not been properly implemented in 0.63. Along with the remaining major features, the infected will be our focus going forward. One of the smaller features that was teased in the Gamescom demo was the ability to shave your character. Our current intention is to make your character show signs of long survival. The longer you stay alive, the more facial hair you grow, including things like scars and other signs of being an experienced survivor. As the demo itself was meant to be played for no more than 15 minutes at once, that's obviously not enough time to show this entire system. All characters spawn with some basic facial hair, and if you find a knife, well, you can shave yourself. As you have probably seen in one of the community-made videos from Gamescom, we've also implemented bloody hands. As you skin a body with your bare hands, be it an animal or another survivor, they get covered in blood. While it certainly looks scary as hell, there is practical side of things to keep in mind. Interacting with blood is a great way to catch some disease or infection. If you want to avoid that, well, it's time to wash your dirty hands. You can do it at any large water source, and to avoid diseases completely, just wear gloves. You've probably noticed that the user actions are now done in a different way. And you are right. One of the major changes in 0.63 is that we want to keep players focused on the game and spend less time doing things from the inventory. Let's demonstrate this on crafting a fireplace. Now previously, you would just get all your items, place them in your backpack, and combine them right there, and the fireplace would magically pop up. In 0.63, this interaction is done by either placing your items on the ground or into hands, with an actual user action. One way to make a fireplace is to have at least one of the recipe items in your hands, combine it with the other, and then hold the user action to craft a kit. Now you have a fireplace, and you can actually place it exactly where you want. To finish the devlog, let's take a look at firearms. In Gamescom demo, players could try IZH rifle, MP5 submachine gun, and FNX 45 pistol. These are the first 3 weapons we already have implemented on the new animation system. For each weapon, there is a custom set of animations for chambering, loading a magazine, reloading, and unjamming. Let's start with chambering. Using the new user actions, the proper way to chamber a weapon is using your quick bar. Just hold the ammo slot and the chambering starts. The same actually goes for reloading a magazine. Quick bar is now your best friend. There is also one major change in how loading magazines with bullets work. Instead of using the inventory, it's now done with your user action, similar to crafting. Let's place the ammo in the quick bar, the magazine in your hands, and leave the inventory. By holding the key of the quick bar slot with ammo, you get a prompt for a load magazine user action. Now you can load your magazine bullet by bullet. Similarly to melee, in order to be combat ready, you need to hold the right mouse button to keep your weapon raised. The weapon sway is now affected by multiple things, and tries to follow the breathing of your character with a constant vertical and random horizontal movement. You can somewhat reduce it with mouse movement or by holding breath. It's changing with different stances, moves, or attachments used. So that's it for this devlog. There was a lot to cover, but hopefully it helped you understand what we presented with Playable Demo at Gamescom. The entire team is now fully focused on delivering 0.63 to experimental branch as soon as possible. We will be covering our progress in status reports at DayZ.com, and also with these devlog videos as we get closer to having new features properly implemented. Thanks for watching, folks, and see you all in Cherners!